So login and registration are working pretty well, but we have a fairly important security issue here. And I'm going to illustrate that. I'm going to hit F12, and I'm going to go to Network, and then I'm going to click Sign Up, and I'm going to create a new account. And hit OK. Oh, I've already used that username. Let's try MarkX2. I'm going to have to delete some of these user accounts. So that worked, everything's fine, but if I look at this doregister.php, I see that the form data is being sent to the web server in clear text, and that includes the password in clear text. And there's a couple of reasons why this is a problem. The biggest one is that anybody who's on the network between my computer and the website that I'm accessing has access to these packets and can pull my password out in clear text. So if a hacker has attacked and compromised any of the systems between my computer and the web server, or if there's a rogue employee, or if traffic is being routed through a server that's a little shady, anybody can see those packets and can get access to my password. So in order to avoid that, what I want to do is to only send password information across a secure connection using HTTPS. And there's a couple of ways of doing that. One way that some sites use, including Google, is to always redirect all accesses to HTTPS. So if you try to access this insecurely, you automatically get redirected to https://localhost and so on. And we saw how to do that before. But that causes a page redirect. And if you don't want to support that, if you want to allow people to access this page insecurely and some other content insecurely, and then only require a secure connection when it's actually required, what you want to do instead is have that AJAX part that's sending the registration information, send that over HTTPS instead. So basically in this register content here, this is where the data is actually getting posted, and instead of sending it to the insecure page, we want to always make sure that this is being sent to HTTPS. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a little JavaScript here that takes the current URL where this thing is getting executed from and mangles it to use HTTPS. And I'm going to go ahead and in my sources, here's the code for registration. And I'm going to put a breakpoint right here in JavaScript. Log out, sign up, mark X3. And hit OK. And then I'm going to work out exactly what the JavaScript should be in the console. So there's a location object in JavaScript, and it has some properties on it. It's got the host name and the path name, and a couple others as well. So I want my new URL to be basically the same host name and path name. I want to get rid of this and put assets, actions, doregister.php instead. And then I want to switch the protocol from HTTP to HTTPS. So let's work out what that should look like. I'm going to start with this path name here and try to strip off index.php. So that's location.pathname.subster. And I'm going to go from 0 up to, and then I want to find the position of this last slash. So that's location.pathname.lastIndexOf, that slash. So that gives me the path up to index.php. And so the full path would be plus / assets actions do register.php. So that's the path part. And then I want to include the host name here. So location.hostname plus that. And then I want https:// that. And I'm doing it this way so that I can change the domain name or what have you, change what directory this is hosted in without having to change those paths in the code. So https:// plus that. So here's the correct secure URL I want to access. And I'm going to go ahead and copy this code, and I'm going to replace it here. And I'm also going to do the same thing for the login content, except this is going to be do login.php. Okay, so let's go ahead and go back to sources and continue. And now, when I sign up, whoops. And I hit OK. Let me go back to the network traffic here. And I'll hit escape to get rid of that pane. Hit OK. So I'm at my breakpoint. Oh, I have to hit reload to get the new version. So sign up. And go to network, hit OK. And now I get a JavaScript error. So it's complaining about basically cross-site scripting again. We talked about this earlier. And so I want to permit the AJAX on this page to talk to my web server. And the way we learned how to do that before is in do register add, what was the name of that again? Hold on a sec. So we need to add access control allow origin. Access control allow origin colon, and we learned how to do that before. So star is a wildcard that matches anything. But I don't actually want to do this because this is secure information, and if I let anybody talk to my script through AJAX, then they can write code that attacks my site or that tricks the user into entering credentials onto their page instead of my page. And so for a security issue, what I really want to put is only http:// and then the domain name. So if I had a real domain name like www.mark.com, I would put mark.com there. And that means that only http:// www.mark.com can access this content cross-site. But since I don't have that domain registered, I'm going to do that instead. So that means that only localhost can access this page. And let's go ahead and try it now. So we'll sign up and mark X7. And hit OK. And now I didn't get a CORS error. So it sent do register correctly. It sent the information. And you'll notice that in the request, it's using HTTPS. So that part worked. But you'll notice that it still doesn't think I'm signed in. And if you look at get username, you'll see that username response was empty, just like I wasn't logged in. And the reason for this is a little complicated, but what it boils down to is that I actually have two separate sessions going on right now. So this session here is http://localhost, and the cookie that's associated with it is this PHP sesh ID 05B1T and so on. So this one has a completely different cookie associated with it. So basically two sessions going on, one for the secure site and one for the insecure site. So what I really need to do is somehow send the session ID for the current session on the insecure page over to the secure page. And I have access to that as well. So if I go to console, and cookies live on document.cookie, and this actually is all of the cookies that are associated with this particular page in this web server. And there's 3 of them. They're separated by semicolon spaces. So to get the cookie I want, which is this PHP sesh ID, I can split that on semicolon space. And that gives me an array of cookies. And then I want something like for I is 0, I less than. Actually, let's go ahead and save that. So var cookies is document.cookie.split. So there's my cookies, and then for I is 0, I less than cookies.length I plus plus if cookie sub I dot index of PHP sesh ID equals is equal to 0. So that basically means if the cookie starts with that piece of text, then I'm just going to go ahead and console.log cookies sub I. So there's the cookie I want, and I want everything after that equal sign. So here, cookie sub I dot substr, and I'm going to find cookies sub I dot substr, index of that first equal sign plus 1. And I need to close off this paren. Is that the right one? Yeah. So here it is. So that's how you get the current PHP session ID in JavaScript. And I'm going to go ahead and start putting some JavaScript into my code. And basically what I want to do is I want to get the cookie in my register content, and then include that as a parameter in this post. And so let's go ahead and get the cookie. So var cookies equals this thing here, and then I want to find the right cookie, so var sesh ID and I'll start by copying that code that I created before and then reformat that. So here's my JavaScript, and I'll reformat it so it's readable. And then here, instead of logging the cookie, I'm going to set sesID equal to that value. All right, so that's a little complicated, but basically what it's doing is it's going through my cookies, finding the right one, and then storing the ID on sesID. And then I want to add that to the information that's being supplied in the post. So I'm going to add plus ampersand sesID equal plus sesID. So that's going to go ahead and include a session ID parameter that has the cookie, and that's going to be sent to the secure server. So let's go ahead and reload here. And I want to put a breakpoint in my do register to make sure that I'm actually getting the right sesID. And so I'm going to hit sign up. I don't even remember what I'm up to, but it should be email. And then I hit OK. And I forgot to, I already used that name, and I also forgot to enable debugging. So turn on debugging. Let's try X9. OK. All right, so now I'm stopped in the debugger. So the way you fix that is before you call session start, there's another function called session ID, and you can give it the ID of the session that you want to attach to. Like so. And if you've done this, then session start is going to attach to whichever session this corresponds to. And then everything should work correctly. So I'm going to go ahead and remove the breakpoint and turn off the debugger and continue here. And then we'll go back to the browser and hit reload. Oh. Hit sign up. And let's get the network tab again. And we'll click OK. So now I'm correctly logged in, but the password was sent over the secure connection. And only http://localhost is allowed to access that AJAX script. So that's about as secure as we're going to get. Now, I'm going to do the same thing for login. So I want to copy these two lines. And then in my login content, I want to also include this code. And then I want to add this part to the post data. So now the password is being sent securely for the login as well, and I'm permitting cross-origin resource sharing, but only to localhost. And I'm passing the session ID from the insecure session to the secure session. So log out, sign in, mark X11, so I'm logged in correctly. This do login, access the secure page with Ajax. And also passed in the session ID. So that should be it for security, and I guess that's enough for this week. So next week we're going to send some emails for to allow the user to verify their account and to reset their password if they've forgotten it, and to get their username if they've forgotten their username. And we'll also look at some file uploading.